Hey, today I thought I would talk a little bit about accuracy with pellets, things that can influence or hinder your accuracy. And I thought I would do this on the road today, share the view of my office window, and just talk about pellets a little bit. So one of the things that, and if you've been doing pellets for a long time, this is not a video for you, so I'll save you some time now. If you're just interested in my opinion, you can hang around. I'd love to have you. Anyway, one of the things to consider with pellets, and I'm not talking about slugs today, just pellets. Every gun is not going to shoot every pellet you throw at it. Let's just say my no-toes. What I find is a favorite pellet of my no-toes might not be the same as yours. All of their barrels should be, in theory, very close to the same. But very close to the same is not the same as the same. You have issues with, say, regulators. Now, and I'm going to talk mostly about regulated guns today, but even with regulators, one of the things that's very, in my opinion, important if you're wanting to tune anything and really get good accuracy out of it, you need a chronograph. Can you shoot a pellet gun without a chronograph? I did it for 65 years. Maybe 60 years. But it really helps if you're trying to tune for accuracy. And if you want to know, I'm in Wind River Canyon in Wyoming, between Thermopolis and Shoshone. If you ever get a chance to drive through here, it's beautiful. In case you don't have a chance to drive through here, I'm going to share my view with you today. Anyway, so with regulators and with the chronograph, what you're trying to do is find a pellet that likes a particular speed, but not every regulator is going to be as efficient at every pressure. So you're looking at your consistency of your pellet speed. That's going to be determined by a few factors, but the regulator is very important. So if you've got a regulator and let's say you're running at 1900 psi and you've got a big fluctuation in speed, you can try 1925, 1950, some other speed, and you might find that your consistency is going to go up, and that's a big factor in your accuracy. With different pellets or we'll say different rifles, they do make different pellets in different diameters. Some companies do, and you might find that a larger pellet head is going to work a little better in your rifle than a smaller pellet head, or the smaller one might work better in your rifle. And this is just going to be something that you find out through experimentation. One of the things that influences it, the pellet weight. Some pellets are basically nose heavy, and other pellets, the real heavy pellets have a very shallow skirt, and light pellets typically are going to have a deeper skirt. That has an influence, or that's influenced by the twist rate on your rifle. So your rifle might not shoot light pellets well. It may prefer heavy pellets, it may prefer light pellets. That's just a thing that you're going to have to tinker with. And if you find something that gives you reasonably consistent accuracy, then you're going to want to fine-tune your velocity on that. And what I'm finding, there's a lot of pellets that like to go generally in the mid to upper 800s, but not a lot of them like to go over that. And these are general rules. These are not etched in stone, and your twist rate may let your pellets fly a little faster, or it may dictate that they fly a little slower. Those are just things you're going to have to tinker with. But that's kind of the fun of it. The brake barrels, you're not going to be able to do too much with your velocity on those, but you can do stuff with the pellet size, and you can do stuff with the pellet weight. I'm not a big brake barrel fan. I know I own one. I might own two. I'll have to look sometime. And I'm going to do something with those. I had a brake barrel when I was a kid. I loaned it to somebody and I didn't get it back. So I don't even honestly remember what it was, what brand it was or anything. And everything else I had was multi-pump pneumatics from my teenage years on through. I've still got a Sheridan Blue Streak in 20. It still shoots as good as it did the first day I got it. And maybe I'll do something with that one day. But the first PCP for me was a Benjamin Marauder in 22 caliber. And if you've been around those for a while, you've heard of the barrel lottery. I did not win the barrel lottery with that thing. So it's going to be one of the things I tinker with, and it's not regulated, but I'm going to tinker with that thing, trying different pellet sizes. I have a much larger variety of pellets than I did when I first got that gun. But that's going to be one of those things that's going to come with time. As of right now, I have 1 day a week off, and the other 6 days I'm in this vehicle, so obviously I can't shoot or anything like that, but I can go on a little bit of rant, and I can talk about pellets and velocity and chronographs and things like that. And right now I'm using the Garmin C1, I think is what it's called. Real happy with that. It's very accurate. I have an FX chronograph also. I like it. It's accurate. It's a little more picky about where I place the chronograph. What I do like about it is it reads out the velocity or speaks the velocity. I don't have to look at it every time. The Garmin I have to look at every time. Those are and then I've got some of the older chronographs where you have to shoot through the forks and stuff like that. Those were quite the hassle, and I've seen more than one of those get shot over the years. Oops. So anyway, my drop block for my Notos came in, so I'll be doing some tinkering with that, and I'm going to show you some easy ways to tune the regulator on the Notos, and I think people will want to see that. It's much easier than I think what most people are doing with it. But anyway, that was my kind of a rant. Your pellet speed is critical. Your pressure from your regulator. All regulators don't like different pressures. Some regulators are pretty consistent no matter the pressure. You're just going to have to tinker with yours and see what it likes. And it may be a 20 psi change, 25, 50, 100 psi change might make all the difference in the world on your consistency from shot to shot. But I wish there was a magic way to say this pellet is going to work good in every rifle, but there's not. So just tinker, enjoy. If that's not your thing, maybe PCPs aren't for you. If you just want to throw lead, then just enjoy that part of it. That is a part. And for people that are more interested in consistent accuracy, for me, I'm not really a paper puncher so much, but what I do when I'm doing pest control, I want to be ethical to whatever it is that I shoot. And I know it sounds really odd to people that don't hunt you're being ethical, you're going to kill the thing. Well, yeah, but I don't want to hurt it. I want it to be over with before the creature knows anything happened. I don't want him to participate in this. I want him to just be gone. and that, I can't think of a more polite way to say it than that. But that's the thing about accuracy for me. I like to do a lot of urban pest control, and that's generally done with a 177, and shot placement at low velocity becomes super critical. And I go with the 177 for the reason that 177 sheds velocity very quickly. So that's my preferred urban pest control caliber. Now, you know, other things, I've got 22, 25. 25 is the biggest caliber I've got in an air gun. But 177 is preferred by me for low power due to the fact that it sheds velocity really quick. And that also means you need the accuracy to go along with it. And I am about to go into a tunnel, and I've got the ISO fixed on here because I'm going in and out of shadows, so I'm going to disappear through these 3 tunnels. But in general, if you have the patience, you can find a pellet that's going to shoot with your air rifle. That's going to be my challenge with the Marauder, is to find something that has decent accuracy in that. Although I don't use it very often, I'm inclined to want to build, because I haven't ever attempted to do that, I'm inclined to attempt to build a regulator for the Marauder. YouTube over the last few years has become very funny about stuff like that, so I don't know how much of that I can show, how much of it I can't show. My channel currently is not monetized, maybe sometime in the future. So right now the only way I make any money off of that is if somebody happens to go down and pick up something out of the description. I do have affiliate links down there. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. I didn't start the channel to make money. I started the channel to try to help people, and that's my primary function. It won't hurt my feelings if I make a buck or two along the way, but if I don't, this is a hobby for me, and I don't have a lot of people in my area that I know, so if I can share it with you wherever you are, whatever country you're in, whatever state you're in, we may not ever meet, but I will enjoy the correspondence. And if you check my comments, if there's a comment that's not answered, I either didn't see it or I haven't got to it yet. Actually have 4 YouTube channels for other things than air guns. I've got one video with 3-point-something million views and, I don't know, 3,500 comments, and I answered every comment on that video. I'm at a stage in my career that I can do that. It takes me time because obviously I can't do it while I'm driving. So, but I will get to it as soon as I can. I appreciate anybody that's stuck around. I'm going to throw a video up over here that you might like, and YouTube's going to throw one down here that you might like. If you have any questions or comments, throw those down there. We'll get to them, and I'll either catch you in one of those videos or I will catch you down the road.